Good day friends, this is Buche. Today we are going to make a new cheese preparation. We are going to make feta cheese using a cheese making machine called Fromaggio. So the ingredients we are going to use are 3 liters of pasteurized and homogenized milk. Additionally, we have rennet, a single strength liquid rennet. We are using a 1/4 teaspoon diluted in 1/8 of a cup of chlorine-free water. Additionally, we are using calcium chloride in a 33% solution. We added a 1/4 teaspoon for the 3 liters of milk and diluted it in 1/8 of a cup of chlorine-free water. Additionally, we have a mesophilic culture. This is a culture called C101. From this little packet, I am using half for the 3 liters because this is for 2 gallons, but 2 gallons are 7.5 liters. Here in this case, we have 3 liters, so I will use half a packet of this. Now I am going to show you how to work with the Fromaggio machine. Okay, so this is the Fromaggio cheese making machine. It has a container where the milk is heated. It has a lid, and inside you can put a plastic strainer that comes with the machine and a soft cutter. However, I am only going to use the soft cutter. I will not use the plastic strainer that comes with it. I am going to do it a little differently, draining it into a strainer that I have separately because I tested it and I didn't really like how that strainer drains. A lot of solid parts escape into the container and I don't want that. I prefer to use one of the strainers I have, which I am sure will retain all the curd there. I will continue with the procedure so that you can see how this works. Anyway, the machine is very good. I am convinced that it helps. It saves time, it helps a lot with the temperatures and stirring the milk in liquid form and the curd. This is the plastic strainer that I was referring to, which is placed in the container, but as I said, a lot of curd escapes, so I will not use it. I will use one I have, metallic, where nothing escapes. This is how it looks with the cutter inserted. It inserts into a shaft down there and there it is ready. So now I'm going to turn it on and show you the process. Okay, here, when turning on the machine, we look for the recipe and we are going to look for feta cheese. Here I found it. I press continue and it tells me to add 3 liters, which are 3090 grams of milk. That must be pasteurized, but not ultra-pasteurized. So I will add the milk to the container. The machine will weigh it, so I must stop when it reaches 3090 grams. Okay, here I go until I reach 3090. If I go a little over, it's not a problem, or if I'm a little short. I'm adding slowly. 3085, 3094. That's it. So now let's continue. When I press next, it tells me to add the calcium chloride. So with this little cup that I prepared here, I add it to the milk. Okay, I press next. It tells me the lid is open and to please close it. I'll show you how to close it. Alright, this is the lid. What I do is place it here and seal it tightly there. There it is, tightly sealed. Then there's a small cover that I can also place here so it doesn't splash. There it is. So now I continue and I'll show you. I've closed the lid and now it tells me it will take 18 minutes to heat up. Right now the milk is at 12 degrees and it will raise it to 32 degrees at an RPM, revolutions per minute of 50 RPM. It will take 18 minutes. I press start. There it goes. I'll show you when the 18 minutes have passed. Okay, it's reaching the heating temperature of 32 degrees and I will add, as I said, half of the mesophilic culture packet directly into the container. Here I am adding it. And I press continue. Now it will stir for 50 minutes at 32 degrees with the same 50 RPM. So there it is, doing its job of ripening the cultures. I'll come back to show you when it's time to add the rennet, alright? 50 minutes of ripening at that temperature. Okay, so here the 50-minute ripening process is finished. Now it asks to add the rennet. I will add it, diluted, to the milk, press continue, and then it will stir at 100 revolutions, faster, for 30 seconds, maintaining the temperature, and then the curdling process will begin. Let's wait for it to finish stirring and I'll show you. It's almost done. 8, 7, 6. It's stirring the rennet. Done. Now notice it will stay for 50 minutes at this temperature, waiting for curdling. It will not stir during this time. I'll show you the next step. Okay, it finished curdling and now it is cutting without heating. It will cut with the soft cutter to break up the curd. We'll wait for it to finish. I'll show you shortly. Done. Now it will rest for 5 minutes at 32 degrees and the process continues. It's not stirring. Okay, the resting period is finishing. Notice the temperature has reached 52 degrees Celsius. Now it will stir at 50 RPM for 5 minutes, maintaining this temperature to help break the curd and separate the curd from the whey. I'll show you. Here it is almost done. Notice that the temperature right now is at 61, but it reached up to 75 degrees Celsius. So now we have 5 minutes without stirring in a resting period. See you shortly. Okay, now the resting stage is finishing and now it goes for 10 minutes, stirring at 50 revolutions per minute, and the temperature right now is at 68 degrees Celsius. So the machine will be stirring for that period of time. I'll show you the next step once this finishes. Okay, this 10-minute stage is about to finish. Now it tells me to remove 1 cup of whey. I will be doing that. I'll show you shortly. What I do is, with this cup and a ladle, I scoop out whey and fill the cup. Well, I'll be doing that and then I'll show you when I have collected the whey in the cup. Okay, here I removed the cup of whey, so I continue with the procedure here. Let's see what it says. It says that the lid has been removed to close it. I'm going to close it now. I'll show you shortly. Okay, now the lid is closed. I put the lid back on and now it will go for 5 minutes at 50 revolutions per minute. Right now it's at 52 degrees. So I'll show you the next stage. Okay, that's done. Now it tells me that I have to drain the curd. According to its procedure, I should use that plastic strainer, but as I mentioned, I'm going to do something different. I'll show you now. I have this metal strainer which has small holes, and so I'm going to drain all the curd here and leave it draining for 1 hour. After an hour, I will transfer it to this rectangular mold so I can have a better presented product, and I'll leave it there for 19 more hours. In total, it will be 20 hours draining. I'll show you once it's draining in this strainer. I have the metal strainer in the sink, and here I have the curd in the Fromaggio mold. I drain it a little bit here, and then simply, with a ladle, I transfer it from here to the strainer. Okay, I'll be doing that, and then I'll show you once it's been resting for an hour there. Okay, there I have all the curd in the strainer, and I'm shaking it so it drains more. I will leave it there, as I mentioned, for 1 hour and then transfer it to the rectangular mold. See you soon. Well, the curd has been draining for an hour in the metal strainer, and I just put it in the rectangular mold. I'm going to leave it there until tomorrow, about 19 more hours. I'll put the lid on it and place a little bit of weight, light weight, so the cheese starts to take shape. Well, see you soon. This is how it looks. I put a glass full of water on top and that's how it will stay. Well, finally, this is the result of the cheese. I just weighed it. It weighs exactly 403 grams. That gives me a yield of 7.46 liters per kilo. So we need 7.46 liters to make 1 kilo. Now what I'm going to do is cut it, slice it into cubes, and then present it submerged in brine. I'll show you. Okay, I already made the cube cuts, and here I have a brine that I prepared with the following: 500 milliliters of water, 20 grams of salt, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, and a quarter teaspoon of calcium chloride in solution. I mixed it well, and this gives me a 4% brine. So now I'm going to add the brine to cover the cheese cubes, and then the cheese will be ready. I will cover it, put it in the fridge, and then consume it however I prefer. I can combine it with salads, eat it alone, drizzle olive oil on top, and add any herb, basil, or whatever comes to mind. Imagination has no limits here. Well, this is how this video concludes. I think it's a good machine, the Fromaggio, for making cheeses that can be consumed at home. They don't have to be very big, and I think it's excellent, a good option. Well, this is Buche, signing off. Over and out.